Hey everybody, soybean farmer. You ever been out riding on your tractor, cutting land, just having a real good old time, and you keep thinking, I need to stop for coffee. I need to get some coffee. So you do. And you park your tractor and you go inside and you make a pot of coffee so you can get a cup of coffee. And you come back out, and as you're getting ready to get on your tractor, well, where it was sitting, right over there in that shady spot, you just happen to come over here and you're looking down at the ground and you see a wet spot. So you pull off the cosmetic looking battery box from the original thing and you find your tractor has wet itself. And so far all we know is that it's coming from somewhere up in there. And it's hydraulic oil. That's two things we know. Alright, what I'm hoping, of course I'll have to take these bolts off right here to be able to see, and the two bolts just like it on the other side. And I'm going to pull this off, and I'm really hoping on this hydraulic temp gauge right here, I don't remember how that worked, it may be electrical, but if it is actual fluid run up there and the temp sensor's in the gauge, I'm hoping that is where it's broke. Anyhow, we ain't cutting any more land, but hey, at least we got coffee. Alright, let's take some stuff apart and see what we got going on. I played with two ratchets, a screwdriver, and a hammer, and took all this off so I could try to find out where this leak's at. Still don't know where it's at. But anyhow, when I was talking about this hydraulic fluid temp gauge right here, that's the line. It is hard, brittle plastic, and it does bring fluid up here. But I can't see where this line is causing my problem. But it goes right, I'm wiggling it right there, it goes right there in the back of the gauge. I don't know where the leak's at yet, but a lot of fluid there. So, looks like I need to clean it up. Can anybody guess what I'm going to use? Well, watch this. If you guessed super clean degreaser, you were correct. We'll be back in a little bit. Well, I found it. Leak was down here. It's in this line. The line picks up down here, comes up here, bends here, straps here, bends a couple of times here, goes through this little hole here, goes back through here, and goes to the power steering. And I'm pretty sure I know what's happened. As you can see me pushing on that, that's cast. This line's been rubbing up against that all these years. And what I did was, after I got it all cleaned up nice, I said, alright, where are you leaking? And I sat here for, smoked a pipe, drank half cup of coffee, tractor running, no leak. And I'm like, dagnabbit, this is going to be fun. So I raised and lowered, did all the hydraulic stuff back there. 3-point, raised and lowered the disc, nothing. Thought about it for a minute. I said, well, I don't know. It didn't hit me. So I got up on the tractor, and very carefully with my feet here not to hit this or this, I went back out there where I'm wanting to cut that land. And praise God I'm out here in March doing this. Because if I was out here, see, I want to plant early this year. I want to get planted about the 2nd, 3rd week of April, finish up by the 4th. Yeah, somewhere in there. Be finished by the 4th week of April here. 15 years ago, 14 years ago, 16 years ago, I had real good successes with that late April planting. That's what I want to get back on this year. Told my seed man, I said, look, I'll drive to your supplier if that's what I have to do to get my seed when I want it. He said, no, you don't have to do that. I'll get you the seed. I said, okay. Well, suppose he'd have gone through all that and got me my seed, and my tractor doing this in April, and I'm, like, oh hell, now I got to figure this out. Anyhow, it took me a little while to figure it out, but guess what else works on this tractor off the hydraulics? Well, like I said, I traced this power steering. Yep. I took it back out there and I said, I'm just going to drive it and see what happens. And I stuck me a paper towel up under here, and I kept watching and finally I saw a little puddle because I had all these cover plates off. And I said, okay, now let's see where it's coming from. Well, I jammed a paper towel, we'll see if I can pull it out in one piece, down here behind this pipe And I'm trying to pull it out in one piece. There it is. Now look how wet that is. Soaking wet. And I had it jammed in between the pipe and here. Now I'm going to have to go find this hydraulic line. And that thing looks like fairly easy access right here. And fairly easy access right here. So it ain't going to be too bad to change. Well, that solves the mystery. That's where the fluid was coming from. So that's soaking wet. And it only squirts out of there when you turn the steering wheel. Well, so glad I got this here in March. Sunday, March, someday, Sunday in March, toward the last of March. Hopefully they still make this line. That's, you know, the next obstacle. This is a 1970 year tractor. They haven't made 4020s in a long time. Two bad things. The first one is mosquitoes are out, and they're the big ones, and they're hungry. And the second thing I just discovered about replacing this line, I got standing here looking at this thing and realizing that the connection here is down pretty low. And there's 15 gallons of hydraulic oil in that right there. So guess what? When I unscrewed it, go away mosquito. Look at the gusher. And if I move the pipe more, you get a big gusher. Now that's just pressure out of the tank coming out of there. Wouldn't it have been really nice if there'd been some kind of valve in there to stop that from happening? I mean, see, it's going to be fast swapping this out to keep from losing that hydraulic oil. I'm trying to remember the last time that fluid was changed. I'm thinking was about 4 or 5 years ago. I'd have to go look in my log book. Well, it's an Excel spreadsheet. But what happened was the load control shaft, which goes right through right there, the seals in it went leaking. And I replaced it. Cousin Scott came over and helped me get it all back together because that stuff's heavy. And you got to be careful putting the shaft in that you don't nick it. But you have to drain all that. Now the stupid drain procedure is a drain plug down at the bottom. You can just barely get a 5-gallon bucket under it, and of course 5 gallons not enough, so you're trying to play a fast bucket swap. But then I guess I discovered 3 bad things. No, the third bad thing ties into the second bad thing. Having to drain this. I'm not putting the fluid I drained out of here back in there. And the last time I bought 5 gallons of this stuff, it was about $32. So I bet you they jacked that up now to about $40-something. Okay, update report. The way I learn stuff is by trying. So my thought was, all right, I'll let it slow drain here. I'll drink coffee and fire me up a cigar, and I can swap these 2 pans out and then pour them into this 5-gallon bucket and not mess with the 5-gallon bucket underneath the rear end. Guess what? I got about 8 quarts out of this thing and it stopped running. So you can see right there the pipe's totally disconnected and it settled out. So I don't have to buy a whole bunch of hydraulic fluid to refill this thing with. Praise God. That had a happy ending. I am so glad that I heard that gentle, loving voice telling me, don't go up under there. Just do this slow and easy like this. It'll work out. And it sure did. That saved me, let's say this stuff's jacked up to $45 per 5-gallon can. I can buy 1 5-gallon can, have some spare around here. Yeah, okay. I just thought I'd update you with that. Anyhow, that thing before about if anybody knows a better way to do this, guess what? Found it. Thanks, y'all. Bye.